Welcome now officially to Madness March, where I throw a bunch of series at the wall and see what sticks. Today, it's one I really think will go through some format changes. Welcome to the upcoming series, where in theory, we'll be talking about the production details of movies so far off in the future, they don't even have trailers yet. It's here you can find the first inkling of movie news, unless I combine it with trailer reactions in the future or something. But today, we're taking it back to the old school days of animation, all the way back to the 1950s with Looney Tunes and the best shorts that IP had to offer, Wile, Coyote vs the Roadrunner. Cause yes, they're getting a new film, and being developed by a collection of surprising characters too, so let's get into this. Looney Tunes is Warner Brothers. I don't know why I'm accidentally covering so many Warner Animation Group projects this season, but we're doing it again, and looking at all the other Looney Tunes content in recent years, you can definitely find a theme of trying a resurgence on all their old IPs. Space Jam 2 already touching everything under the sun with both 2D and 3D elements, Tom and Jerry brought into reality with a simplistic look that kinda works but isn't that great, and Scoob and Super Pets entirely CG movies. And this project 2, officially titled Coyote vs Acme, is indeed a live-action animated hybrid film. Though I'm curious as to how hybrid it gets. We've seen all sorts of different renditions in the form of the 2D Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the 2D but with shading in Looney Tunes Back in Action, the overly fluffy Space Jam 2, or even across corporate borders you have the newly announced Disney Plus project Chip and Dale that seems to specifically be producing a meta-commentary about these animation styles.
You look different. Hey, it's no secret I had the CGI surgery done.
Over there, the two characters are 50-50, 2D and 3D, even though the 2D one's represented in a 3D cel-shaded model. And in all honesty, I'm a lot more hyped for that kind of style over more Tom and Jerry, you know? But we'll see. Instead of speculating on the visuals, let's hone in on the actual confirmations. This is a movie that will be coming out in the distant year of 2023. Wait, that's just next year. Oh, I guess a teaser trailer or something might be sooner than we think. Specifically, it's set for July 21st, 2023. And while every other Warner Bros. Studio has had a simultaneous release on HBO Max, something we in the UK still don't have proper access to, this project is set to be an exclusive theatrical release. So summer next year, they're taking that risk. Now, the film is currently in pre-production, so there's been no trailers quite yet, but for visuals, we have all sorts of alternatives for you. As being a 73-year-old property, there have been all sorts of reinterpretations across the decade. So I guess with all these animation styles being pressed into Wile's face, one of these is gonna be accurate. I just really hope it isn't this one. Ugh, reminds me of that Paramount Plus Rugrats movie, or Diary of a Wimpy Kid, no thank you. Anyway, even if this movie isn't one to blow you away with the visuals, the current production team certainly might, as this is quite the lineup. First, there's James Gunn. Yes, the James Gunn! Mr. Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad has been set as producer and screenplay writer for this production. You've also got the Silberman brothers, John and Josh, previously working on Living Biblically and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Jeremy Slater, writing Umbrella Academy and the new Fantastic Four, and Mortal Kombat 2. There's Sammy Birch, also credited for the screenplay, working prior on, the Hunger Game movies. We've also got a couple producers from earlier WAG movies. Chris McKay, there he is again, from the Lego Batman movie, and Chris DeFaria, the producer to the Tom and Jerry live action. And finally, in the directing chair is Dave Green, directing here and there over the years, but most notably pinpointed for creating Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows. I mean, it's not as bad as the 2014 Michael Bay one, but so this might be a basic Tom and Jerry spiritual successor. Or a TMNT mess. Or maybe something unique and untried. Who knows? Here's your poke to come subscribe if you're up for seeing more of this upcoming series. There's always more movies popping up, and I'm happy to take suggestions too on our Discord. We'll also be keeping an eye peeled for the inevitable trailers, so let me know when they drop and I'll react on stream. And post them to DazzReviews 3 as well. That one's for clips and quick reactions. Oh, actually, there's one more credit in here. One Ian Frazier. He's not a movie writer. Instead, he's an article writer decades ago for The New Yorker. And yet he is the starting spark for the entire plot line for this movie. See, turn back the clock 32 years, and you come to a New Yorker article titled, what do you know, Coyote vs ACME. Opening statement of Mr. Harold Scott, attorney for Mr. Coyote. My client, Mr. Wile Coyote, a former resident of Arizona and contiguous states. Mr. Coyote vigorously attempted to follow general damages, unable to bring injury design. This is a courtroom opening statement of a reality where Wile Coyote sued the Acme Corporation for the quality of the products he bought and to compensate him for damages. And it is quite a read, man. A great piece of parody. And that's the plot of this movie. According to direct sources, after failing to catch the Roadrunner again, Wile Coyote takes it upon himself to wage war on the company who supports him, Acme. He's not even going to be chasing the Roadrunner really this movie. Though I have found a couple alternative spins on this description. One source says the story is set within the Acme warehouse, the manufacturer of anything and everything used by Looney Tunes characters, and whatever referenced elsewhere in other media. Also, is this owned by Warner Brothers? Because Acme Bowling Pins is totally like Warner Brothers and Bugs Bunny. Is it just a reference? I don't know what's going on there. I imagine the warehouse would only be a section of this movie, but sure, you get the idea. Same with this next explanation, a courtroom drama. The film will focus on Wile's attempts to obtain legal compensation for all the injuries he has sustained over the years. I sure would hope there's a lot more adventuring to reach Acme rather than just sitting in a courtroom for the entire 100+ minute runtime. Though at the same time, having a mute protagonist the entire time trying to carry a whole film does sound like quite the strenuous task. Though it is possible. Wall-E from Pixar did a pretty fantastic job with not too much dialogue. And this project does have a huge collection of contributors, so either this needs a lot of work, or there's a lot of gag planning going on to make this something of high quality. Like, I imagine it's very likely to be real humans in this story as well. I'm just curious though as to how big a role the Roadrunner will have in all this. Would they ironically come along to help as the agent of chaos that they are? Are they only there for the opening moments before Wile gives up? Or hey, maybe there'll be a surprise antagonist actually being in cahoots with Acme themselves. Funnily enough though, through all the different short stories Wile and the Roadrunner have gone through, there was actually a webtoon courtroom case that had Wile win in court against the Roadrunner, leaving them to go on the run from the law. So I guess in a sense, it's already been done in some spin. Not that that can accurately be extrapolated to this film. I mean, once upon a time in 2003, in the Looney Tunes Back in Action movie, Wile was a hired employee of Acme, who ends up pausing his own Roadrunner desires to redirect attention onto the protagonist of that film. But it's still a fun trivia fact. Now, while those small plot details are known, the cast are not. There's been no announcement. Oh, actually, scratch that. Literally on the day I'm recording this, February 17th, news dropped that one actor has slipped in, Mr. John Cena. Thanks Sonochi on Discord for accidentally helping out with this video. I have a movie news channel over there that would line up specifically for this upcoming series, and apparently it's already in action. But yes, he's not playing Wile himself, but that shouldn't really be a surprise considering the guy is literally a mute character with only signs as communication, although that too is not always the case in all sorts of prior works, and they did have Tom and Jerry speak that one time in that one movie, but not in the recenter one, so probably not. Anyway, John Cena is instead set up to play what sounds like an antagonist, being the boss of the lawyer Wile hires. The latest plot synopsis from this update basically just adds that, yeah, Coyote hires a lawyer to sue the company. The case pits the Canid and his counsel against the lawyer's intimidating boss, played by Cena, but their growing, unlikely friendship across species and cartoon lines spur them on. Is it boring to have another monopolizing actor take another slot? I'm not too fussed, since at least it's not voicing Wile in a VA role or something. Don't you do it! Don't you dare! Though I totally want a Brendan Fraser cameo appearance somewhere. Doubt it'll happen though. Only other details we now know is that filming locations are apparently in Calgary, Canada. Production companies are WAG, Warner Brothers, and Lynn Pictures, though I can only find one source for that. Doing all sorts of similar projects, the Lego Movie, the new Avatar, the Last Airbender series, Death Note, Disney remakes, you get it. Oh, and also as a trivia fact, this is said to be the first Looney Tunes film to be in 3D, Real 3D, and IMAX 3D. That makes me think we're leaning towards the 2010 CG reboot design with a lot of fuzz and a lot of in-your-face compositing. But I guess we'll just have to see how it all comes together next year. The announcement of this movie and its cemented release date was at Christmas time 2020, so it's been over a year since news and we just got dropped of an actor in it, and just over another year until release, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we see a trailer or two for this movie real soon. When it does, poke me about it and maybe we'll make a follow-up. Or at the very least, a reaction video on our second and third channel. However it turns out, you can be sure that Coyote vs Acme will be upcoming fairly shortly. For now, my name's been Dazz. You didn't really care. Pitch me some other upcoming movies you want to see. Do it on our Discord. And I'll see you in a bit.